Welcome to today's session. I'm very excited to be here. I am with Storied, the next chapter in family history, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the future of family history, AI-powered storytelling, which we offer here at Storied. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see our social handle is at storied_social. So make sure you check out our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we do have a YouTube channel with all kinds of great videos and tutorials on it. So make sure to check that out. So let's dive right in. My name is Heather Haunert. I am the Associate Marketing Manager and Storied Genealogist. My email address is haunert@storied.com, and I'm always very excited to get emails from users on how they are using our product and what they are liking about it, and how they can use it with family history. So let's get started with Story Assist. That is the feature that we have at storied.com that allows you to get help telling a story. So why use Story Assist? Well, first of all, maybe you don't like to write. That seems to be an issue with a lot of the folks that we have on the platform. They really want to tell those family history stories, but they struggle with the writing part of it. I understand that. I used to teach high school English, and it was always like pulling teeth to get my students to write. So I understand that part of it, but that's why we've created Story Assist to kind of help you with that process. It improves the quality of your writing. Sometimes you might have just some basic details and information about the story that you want to tell. And Story Assist with AI-powered technology really helps expand that story and make it exciting for other people to read. It also saves time. This is something for me. I do spend a lot of time. I like to write, but I do spend a lot of time really kind of nitpicking my own stories and kind of tearing them apart. So this really saves time, and it helps you write something quick and easy. And then the last one is it helps connect family and friends. So, with Story Assist, it really helps you to get other people involved in the storytelling process and sharing their side of the story as well, especially if they fall into the other categories that we had at the top, like not liking to write and want something that improves the quality. You don't feel like you're a good writer. So it helps to connect other people to your stories and gives them an outlet to help write as well. So what is Story Assist? So this is what Story Assist looks like at storied.com. So when you go to tell a story, every time you're going to get a pop-up window that looks like this. And it says, would you like to try Story Assist? Now, there are a couple of different options here that you can do. You can say not at this time. So if this happens to be a story that you're writing and you really don't feel like you need any help with it, you can choose not this time, and the box will go away and you can just write your story like you normally would. The next one that is highlighted in blue, try Story Assist. That allows you to use the Story Assist feature that you see on the right here. And those are the functions. We'll kind of talk through that. And then the bottom one is don't show this again. So if this is something that you don't want to pop up every single time you're telling a story, you can click that, and it's still available to you in your account at storied.com, but it is not something that's going to pop up every single time. Okay, so the screenshot on the right is what Story Assist actually looks like. So this is the first window that you'll get when you go to write a story. If you say try Story Assist, then you'll get this pop up. And what happens with this one, you notice you can set the story tone. So you can make it neutral, happy, funny, sad, serious. You can include a narrator. So what we mean by this is, if I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but my English teacher is coming out in me. So if you are the narrator, I choose me as the narrator. That means I am telling the story. It's from my perspective, and you'll see pronouns like I, me, my, we. It's coming from my perspective. Whereas if someone else is telling the story, it's outside of you. You would hear she did this, he did this. And so that's what that kind of difference in the narrator looks like. You will tell kind of a quick main theme, what your story is about. And then below that, it says, be sure to include these important details. And we've given you just some examples that we've used before with Storied Assist. But this is going to be the instance where you're going to be able to put in all of the details that are important to you with your story. And you can add up to 5 lines of details. And the box itself that lets you type in the details, you can put quite a bit of information even in just one box. So this is what Story Assist looks like as you're going through writing a story. And this is available on our free account. If you have a free Storied account, you can write stories, tell as many stories as you want on the platform for free. And Story Assist is part of that process. Okay, so let's take a look at one of the stories that I created with Story Assist. So this one is one I created, one of my favorites. I've created several. I kind of go back and forth personally. For me, I do like to write my stories, but sometimes I do get stuck in some details. So I sometimes will use Story Assist, and this one's my favorite by far. So I had a story about my brother, and this is a true story. When he was 2 years old and I was 4 years old, he had this stuffed dog that he absolutely adored. And we had a basement in our house, and we had one of those like heating grates that you could lift the cover off, and it went down to the basement. And I kind of did that and threw his dog down there. And of course, he went to go get his dog. And when he did, it was dark, and he tripped and fell against a coffee table in the basement, and he knocked out his 2 front teeth. So I took just some very minimal details. I said that I was 4 and he was 2. It was a red and green striped dog. I threw it to the basement. He knocked his teeth out. I mean, that I had very few details. And this is the story that it came up with. It was a typical day in my family's household. My brother, 2 years old and full of energy, was playing with his beloved green and red striped stuffed dog. I, at the ripe old age of 4, was feeling mischievous and decided to see how far his toy would fly if I threw it down the heating register. I threw the stuffed dog with all my might and watched as it flew down into the dark abyss of the basement. My brother, of course, wanted to retrieve his beloved stuffed animal. Determined to get it back, he scurried down into the dark basement. I heard a big crash and ran down after him. There he was, laying on the floor, his front teeth knocked out against the coffee table. My parents were horrified and immediately called the dentist. It turned out that there was no permanent damage to his teeth and that he would grow up with a perfectly straight smile. Although my brother never got his beloved stuffed dog back, he was able to laugh about it as he grew older. In fact, he even joked that he was the only one in our family with a smile that was hilariously crooked. Now, this is one that I did. It blew me away when it created the story. And I've created it here and left it in its original format. And what I mean by that is I let Story Assist do its work, and I kept this to use as an example so that you could see exactly what it put in there. Now, are there some things in this particular story that aren't correct? Absolutely, there are. For one, it said that he never got his beloved stuffed dog back. Well, he did. And so there are certain things that, when you do AI generated technology like this with Story Assist, it may get some things wrong. And that's really where we're hoping that this is more of a springboard for you, kind of a rough draft, so that you can take those things and change them around to suit your story. Now, the one thing that it did that really surprised me, I was shocked by this. The one part where it said my parents were horrified and called the dentist, and the dentist said there was no permanent damage. I did not include that in my details when I did Story Assist, and it included that in there. And that was absolute fact. That's exactly what happened in our story. So you'll see that sometimes it gets some things right and sometimes it may not, but it's very impressive in what it can write. And I would have labored over this for an hour trying to write this and make it sound as great as this sounds. So this is an example of one that I've created. And so I'm going to now take you out into the live Storied account, my Storied account, and I'm going to do one for you so you can see what it looks like on the fly. So from here, I can either tell a story right here. This is my story feed. I can tell a story here, or I can go to my stories. And I'm just going to tell one from here. So I'm going to click on this. And as you can see, my Story Assist window pops up, and I'm going to say try Story Assist. Here is my window that has my options that I can use to help tell my story. So I am going to make mine, I'm going to say funny. I can laugh about this story now. Funny. And it's going to be from my perspective. And this story is about our first trip to Disney World. So I put in my theme, and then here's where I can have up to 5 different details I want to include. And again, these can be very short, or they can be pretty lengthy, what information you can put in there. So the first one is well, there we go. Okay. Our first trip to Disney World when Jack was 4 and Audrey was not quite 2. And you're already thinking this is going to be a story. So that's the first one. It was our first trip in our first trip in our travel trailer. It was a VR1 is what it was called. And we were, I'm going to say, going from Indiana to Florida. Long trip, especially with 2 little kids and a camper. The next detail, I'm going to say we were stuck in spring break traffic all night. My poor husband did not sleep at all. We drove straight to Florida. Audrey got sick every day on our trip, and sometimes several times a day. We don't know if she was just anxious or what it was, but she got sick a lot. And then I'm going to say we also camped at the beach in Fort Myers. Okay, so these are my 5 details, and you can see some of them I made short, and some of them are a little bit longer in details. So I went ahead and included 5, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say generate draft. And so it's going to take a minute. It's looking at all of those details. Now, one thing I've learned is if you write a story that has any kind, it's based in historical fact in any way at all, it's pretty amazing what AI technology with Story Assist will pull in. So just think that through. Like I did a story about a person that was on the Titanic, and it pulled in details because it was an historical event that were pretty amazing. All right, so here's the story that it came up with. Our first trip to Disney World was a hilarious disaster. We loaded up our trusty travel trailer, a VR1, with all the essentials for a magical week in Florida. I love this already. We were excited to see the magic of Disney World through the eyes of our 4-year-old son, Jack, and our not quite 2-year-old daughter, Audrey. But our journey started with a long night stuck in spring break traffic. We were crawling along with nothing but the headlights of other cars to keep us company. It was the perfect start to what would become a memorable adventure. Audrey must have had too much excitement because she got sick every day on our trip, sometimes several times a day. We quickly learned the importance of packing extra towels and a good supply of disinfectant wipes. To cap off our trip, we camped at the beach in Fort Myers. One night, we heard a rustling outside our trailer and discovered a raccoon had snuck in and was helping itself to our snacks. We spent the night chasing the little bandit around the trailer, trying to get our snacks back. Despite the mishaps, our first trip to Disney World will always be a cherished memory. We learned that sometimes most memorable moments are the ones that don't go according to plan. So overall, I love this story. It did a great job. It captured in my mind what I think is the essence of this trip. So from here, some things, again, that we would encourage, this, first of all, this is not true about the raccoon. So I would definitely take that part out, because that did not happen. But most everything else seems pretty good. I might tweak it here and there. So from this point, I'm going to add a title. I'm going to say Disney World Mishap. And then my location. So we have a type ahead location here. So I'm going to put Orlando, and it should pop up as Florida. And this was March of 2006 is when we went on that trip. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so I've put in those bits of information. I can also add a photo, which I pulled one down and found one of the kids at the beach. So I can include that in there, and then I can go on and finish out telling my story. So I would include who's in this story. So I can choose me from my family tree, and I'm going to choose Jack because he is there, and Audrey, and then my husband. Okay, so I've got everybody that's in the story. I can click next. You can choose categories for your story. So I'm going to choose relationships and memories and challenges for this one, and click next. And this is going to ask me how I want to share it. So you can share your story publicly. You can keep it private, or if you have groups on Storied, you can do that. I'm going to send this to our Fab Four, which is my family group that I have with the four of us. I'm going to click on done, and that's all there is to telling that story. It's going to pop up in my story feed, and there it is, the Disney World mishap, and I can see it. So again, super quick and easy. I used the Story Assist function to help me write that story. I can change it up, make it be what I want it to be. So super quick and easy. Great way to tell stories if you want to save time, if you're struggling to write. The Story Assist feature at Storied is awesome to use. So last thing I just want to mention, we do have this weekend to celebrate VGA's birthday. Happy 5th birthday. We have a coupon code for 20% off of our ultimate subscription. Our ultimate subscription allows you access to everything at Storied. You can create 10 groups with 100 people in each group. You can have access to all of our historical records. You can have access to all of our newspaper articles. So everything that we have to offer at Storied. The ultimate is $139.99. For 12 months. And with this coupon, you can get 20% off. And I've indicated here that you'll want to use this coupon code VGA 2023. And to get this, you would go to storied.com, and at the top, there is a plans and pricing option, and you would choose Ultimate. So good luck in your storytelling adventure. I hope to see some of your great stories that either you've written or used with Story Assist at storied.com. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.